Good morning, children. Welcome to grade 5. This is your English class. Look at this picture, children. We know very well that we wear different clothes for different seasons. Yes, we all wear cool cotton clothes in summers and warm clothes in winters. Likewise, we all dress up differently for different occasion. For example, formal clothes, semi-formal clothes and casual clothes. Okay, children, but if we go to the space in this chapter, dressing up for space, we are going to read about the requirements of a impactable spacesuit. We are also going to read about the first spacesuit and some interesting facts about spacesuit. Let's begin the reading of this chapter. Outer space has very harsh condition. Let's find out what astronauts wear to keep themselves safe in outer space. Let's begin the reading of this chapter, children. Space is no doubt a difficult place to travel to and even more difficult to live in. First, there is no air in space. Then, it is very cold unless the sun is shining directly at you. And since there is no air to protect you, children, the rays of the sun can burn you. To survive in space, a special spacesuit is needed to protect your body. Children, do you know what is spacesuit? Spacesuit means a special suit owned by astronauts in space. Then, from the efforts of the extreme heat and cold, and to provide you with air so that you can breathe. Spacesuits are full of air to provide the pressure that your body is used to on earth. So they look bloated. Do you know what is bloated, children? It is full of liquid or gas and larger than normal. Spacesuits also protect you from space dust, children, which travels faster than a bullet. So, to survey in space, a special spacesuit is needed. Then, the special gold-lined visors protect your eyes from bright sunlight, children. Do you know what is meant by visors? Visors means a pair of transparent movable shields attached to a helmet to protect the eyes or face. A spacesuit is a complete astronaut protection unit, a very intricate and well-designed machine. Intricate means detailed and complicated. It has a heating and cooling system and arrangements for air and water to drink on the go. It even allows the astronaut to relieve himself while in the chute. Children, to relieve oneself means to urinate or pass stool. Again, I tell you about the spacesuit, children. To survey in space, a special spacesuit is needed. It will protect you from the rays of the sun and extreme heat and cold, and to provide you with air so that you can breathe. Then spacesuits also protect you from space dust and protect your eyes from bright sunlight. It was a well-designed mission. Children, now we will learn about the invention of the spacesuits. Spacesuits were invented around the 1930s. When? 1930s. As one goes higher up in the atmosphere, the air becomes thinner and pilots need air to breathe. In the beginning, the chutes were somewhat clumsy as they were quite stiff, bulky and difficult to move around in. Children, bulky means something which is large and heavy. Since these chutes were quite stiff, large and heavy, so astronauts would often find it very difficult to move around in these spacesuits, children. So let's read more to find out what changes were made in these spacesuits. The earliest astronauts stayed inside their spacecraft, but scientists soon realized that the astronauts would also be working in space, and so they started working on better spacesuits for these missions. So the first spacesuits were silver in color. What color, children? Silver in color. The first spacesuits, because scientists at that time felt that these would reflect the sun rays. They had pipes in them that supplied air and water to keep the astronauts cool. Then soon space missions required extravehicular activity, that means EVA, on the part of the astronauts. That means the astronauts had to move out of the spacecraft to walk on the moon and later to repair the space shuttles while they are in orbit around the Earth. The chutes had to be changed. They were attached to the spacecraft by a thick tube that carried air and water and stopped them from floating away. During Apollo missions, the spacesuits were modified further. Children, modified means changed slightly to make them more suitable. Modified means changed slightly to make them more suitable. They were big backpacks with air, water and batteries so that the astronauts could do a moonwalk for about 8 hours. The thick tubes were removed. The astronauts had more freedom to move around. So basically these spacesuits were now lesser complex and easier to move around in, children. Next one, flying in space. A spacesuit attached to a rocket-powered backpack is called a maneuvered maneuvering unit. That means MMU. Maneuvering means moving skillfully or carefully. Maneuvering means moving skillfully or carefully. So, the spacesuit has rocket motors to help the astronaut to fly around in space. there is a camera in the astronaut's helmet. So, the other crew members and scientists on Earth can monitor what the astronaut is doing. Children, now I will tell you about the modern day spacesuits. Modern day astronauts don't need to wear spacesuits at all. Most of the time, when they are inside a spacecraft, they wear overalls. Overalls means a loose piece of clothing made of heavy cloth and worn over other clothes. Then, even their own clothes, they wear special white space suits only when they needed to go out into space to do repair work or perform experiments. The most commonly used space suit these days is the orange space suit. It is worn only during launch and re-entry. The chute has a parachute and other survival items. It is orange to make it easier to spot the crew. Children, launch and re-entry here means the launch of the spaceship from the Earth and its re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. Since there are some changes of accident at this point of time, that is why the astronauts need to wear this spacesuit. Children, now we will learn some interesting facts about spacesuits. Initially, spacesuits were made to fit each astronaut, but now they are off the rack, ready-made. They are made up of different parts in many sizes that can be attached and well fit astronauts of different sizes. Astronauts can select a suit, pack their bags and go. Spacesuits have 11 layers. Spacesuits have 11 layers. The layers are sewn and cemented together. They are about 4 inches thick. It takes almost 2.5 years to produce a suit and it costs around $2 million. The spacesuit is too heavy for training on Earth. The astronauts use special lightweight pods on Earth and they do a lot of training in water. In the pool, they do all the things they will do on their mission. Children, this underwater practices done because of pressure in water is somewhat similar to the pressure in the space. That is why the astronauts do a lot of practice underwater. A spacesuit is not easy to put on. It takes an astronaut over an hour to wear a spacesuit with the help of an assistant. Under their helmets, astronauts wear a hat called a Snoopy cap. It has a microphone and speakers, so astronauts can talk to each other. Under the spacesuit, astronauts wear another light suit. It covers their entire body except their head, hands and feet. There are water tubes in this layer to keep the astronaut cool. Now I am going to tell you about future spacesuits. In the future, you might be able to go into space for a holiday. Scientists are researching to design spacesuit that will be smaller, lighter and more comfortable. These suits will be better fitted and made of fabric. What is mean by fabric? Material made by wool, cotton, etc. used for making cloths with less metal and rubber. Movement in the spacecraft will be easier. Children, in science scan, we cannot hear in space because there is no medium. Therefore, sound waves to travel. It takes an average of 8 minutes and 20 seconds for the light of the sun to reach Earth. Children, now fact file. National Aeronautics and Space Administration, that means NASA, is an American agency that works on space research project. Then Apollo 11 was NASA's first space mission to land on the moon, and astronaut Neil Armstrong was the first human to step on the moon. On landing on the moon, Armstrong said, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." Then, Indian Space Research Organization, that means ISRO, headquartered in Bangalore, is the Indian agency that works on space exploration projects. Other than successfully launching satellites into orbits, ISRO has also launched Mangalyaan and Chandrayaan missions to Mars and the moon. Children, I hope you have learned something about space suits. Are you clear, children? Shall we move to the book exercises, children? Children, book exercises. Page number 128 to 132. Now, exercise A. Fill in the blanks with words from the article. Children, now we are going to fill the answers by the information given in the lesson. First one, a spacesuit is a complete astronaut protection unit. I repeat, a spacesuit is a complete astronaut protection unit. Answer is astronaut protection unit. Second one, spacesuits were invented around the 1930s. Spacesuits were invented around the 1930s. Answer is 1930s. Third one, spacesuits are filled with air, so they look bloated. I repeat, spacesuits are filled with air, so they look bloated. The answer is bloated. Fourth one, there is no air to protect you from the sun in space. I repeat, there is no air to protect you from the sun in space. The answer is air. Fifth one, spacesuits protect the astronauts from both heat and cold. I repeat, spacesuits protect the astronauts from both heat and cold. The answer is heat. Next, exercise B. Choose the correct option. Which are underlined or correct options, children? Let's see the first one. The first, spacesuits were silver in color because scientists, though this color would reflect the burning hot sun rays. I repeat, the first spacesuits were silver in color because the answer is scientists, though this color would reflect the burning hot sun rays. Second one, earlier spacesuits had long pipes attached to them which supplied cool water to the chutes. I repeat once again. Earlier spacesuits had long pipes attached to them which supplied cool water to the chutes. Third one, nowadays when the astronauts are traveling in a spacecraft, they wear overalls or their own clothes. I repeat, nowadays when the astronauts are traveling in a spacecraft, they wear overalls or their own clothes. Next, exercise C. Match the sentence parts in the two columns in a meaningful way. Children, here two columns are given. Column A, column B. So, we are going to match column A with column B to make a sentence. Let's see the first one. The orange spacesuit is owned only during launch and re-entry. I repeat, the orange spacesuit is owned only during launch and re-entry. Second one, the Snoopy cap owned under the helmet has a radio microphone and speakers so that astronauts can talk to each other. I repeat once again, children. The Snoopy cap worn under the helmet has a radio microphone and speakers so that astronauts can talk to each other. Third one, astronauts take over an hour to put on a spacesuit and they need a helper to put on all the different parts. I repeat once again, children. Astronauts take over an hour to put on a spacesuit and they need a helper to put on all the different parts. Fourth one, a spacesuit attached to a rocket-powered backpack is called a mannered maneuvering unit. I repeat, a spacesuit attached to a rocket-powered backpack is called a mannered maneuvering unit. Fifth one, astronauts learn how to move around in space in their spacesuits by training in a big pool. I repeat once again, children. Astronauts learn how to move around in space in their spacesuits by training in a big pool. Children, the matched numbers are 5, 1, 4, 3, 2. I repeat, 5, 1, 4, 3, 2. Then next one, write the name of the language, Greek, Hindi, French, Spanish, from which the following words have been borrowed. You can use the internet for help. Children, many words of the English language come from other languages such as Greek, French, Spanish and Hindi. They are sometimes known as loan words. Several of these words are now so common in English that they are considered an essential part of English vocabulary. So let's see the first one, children. Alligator. The word borrowed from Spanish and Latin language. Second one, ballet. The word borrowed from French. Third one, charcoal. The word borrowed from Hindi. Fourth one, coat. The word borrowed from French. Fifth one, croissant. The word borrowed from French. Sixth one, guru, the word borrowed from Sanskrit. Seventh one, mania, the word borrowed from Latin. Eighth one, plaza, the word borrowed from Spanish. Ninth one, shampoo, the word borrowed from Hindi language. Tenth one, war, the word borrowed from French language. Now, exercise A. Read these sentences and write D for declarative, IN for interrogative, IM for imperative, and E for exclamatory sentences. Children, do you know what are declarative, interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory? There are four kinds of sentences. First one, declarative. A declarative sentence makes a statement of fact. A declarative sentence makes a statement of fact. A full stop is put at the end of a declarative sentence. A full stop is put at the end of a declarative sentence. Second one, interrogative sentence. An interrogative sentence asks a question. An interrogative sentence asks a question. A question mark is put at the end of the interrogative sentence. So, a question mark is put at the end of an interrogative sentence. Third one, imperative sentence. An imperative sentence makes a request or an order. An imperative sentence makes a request or an order. A full stop is put at the end of an imperative sentence. A full stop is put at the end of an imperative sentence. Fourth one, exclamatory. An exclamatory sentence expresses a sudden and strong feeling. An exclamation mark is put at the end of an exclamatory sentence. An exclamation mark is put at the end of an exclamatory sentence. Let's see the first one, children. Do you wish you could travel in space? I repeat, do you wish you could travel in space? At the end of the sentence, question mark. So, it is interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence. Second one, a spacesuit weighs approximately 280 pounds. A spacesuit weighs approximately 280 pounds. It is a fact statement. So, declaration. So, D. Third one, please take me with you when you go on a holiday. Please take me with you when you go on a holiday. It is request. So, the sentence is imperative. Fourth one, India is making great progress in space technology. I repeat, India is making great progress in space technology. It is a statement. So, declarative. Fifth one, how exciting it must have been for Neil Armstrong to be the first man on the moon. I repeat, how exciting it must have been for Neil Armstrong to be the first man on the moon. It is an exclamatory sentence. Next one, B. Change the following sentences as directed. One is already done for you, children. So, let's move to the second one. Apollo 11 was the first manned spacecraft to land on the moon. Change into an interrogative sentence. An interrogative sentence starts with a question word, children. like what, who, etc. And then a helping verb like does, is. So here the answer is, was Apollo 11 the first manned spacecraft to land on the moon? Question mark. Third one, would you like to have lunch with an astronaut? Change into a declarative sentence. Children, a declarative sentence starts with the subject. You would like to have lunch with an astronaut? Fourth one, what an unusual place the moon is. Change into a declarative sentence. So the answer is, the moon is a very unusual place. Fifth one, man has landed on the moon. Change into an interrogative sentence. Has man landed on the moon? Exercise C. Put the verbs in brackets in the correct tense. Let's see the first one, children. If I go for a walk, I will take you along. I repeat once again. If I go for a walk, I will take you along. In simple present tense, the verb go. We don't add s to the verb. Then for simple future, with the verb we add will. Second one, if I see him, I will give him your number. If I see him, I will give him your number. Third one, if he comes back early, he will cook for himself. If he comes back early, he will cook for himself. In simple present tense, he, she, it, we add s to the verb. So come changed to comes. Fourth one, if he wants to become an astronaut, he will study science. I repeat, if he wants to become an astronaut, he will study science. Then exercise D. Match the sentence parts in the two columns. We are going to match the column A with column B, children. If I visit NASA, I shall enroll to be an astronaut. I repeat, if I visit NASA, I shall enroll to be an astronaut. Second one, if I send an email, I may be invited to visit NASA. If I send an email, I may be invited to visit NASA. Third one, if I enroll to be an astronaut, I will visit Mars. If I enroll to be an astronaut, I will visit Mars. Fourth one, if I learn to use the computer, I shall write an email to NASA. If I learn to use the computer, I shall write an email to NASA. Here, the answers are 3, 4, 2, 1. I repeat, 3, 4, 2, 1. Children, I am sure that you all enjoyed reading this chapter, Dressing Up for Space, and must have learnt a lot of things about space suits. Thank you, children.